Making a paring knife from a rusted tiller point. Part 2, Grip Design. William Hovey Smith, 2016. I am the author of Backyard Deer Hunting and the owner of a new company, Hovey's Knives of China, where we take ancient designs from 2,000 years ago in China and make them out of modern steels to make cooking knives as good as any in use today. And here is what we started with, a very rusted tiller point. Now first, we ground the blade, and this shows it being soft ground. Then we tempered and finished the knife, and this is what we started with at this stage, a knife blade ready to handle. This is a nice piece of African rosewood that we're going to use for grips for our paring knife. Because the grip section of steel is so short, I'm going to have to cut out a slot at the end of the billet to allow this piece of steel to insert in and be pinned. And then I can form the rest of the knife grip from the remainder of the billet. And so that's a little bit dicey getting that done. Then we'll set the pins and actually grind the scales. The width of our grip here is 3/16. So I need to cut a 3/16 inch slot by making 2 cuts with the saw in this blank. Last hole for the knife scales. We're setting our pins with the hydraulic press, and our pretty little brass pins wouldn't go through. So we're using steel nails. And so we're driving the pins through with that. Got a little shoe glue on there, hold everything together. And this puts much less stress on the wood than trying to drive it in with a hammer. And so we have our pins in. Using this grinding cabinet enables much wood dust to be captured that otherwise would be just floating around the shop. Now I have another video on how we adapted this blast cabinet from Harbor Freight to be an effective grinding cabinet. The goal of the work in the cabinet grinder is to remove a lot of excess wood from this grip, and that it did. And you can see that the profile has more or less been set. What is difficult in that cabinet grinder is to get precise control because your hands are confined. And so some of these flats are angled at evil angles. The piece is asymmetric. That you cannot easily see when you're doing it. And now we're going to put it on the belt sander with as much better control. And we're going to start with a coarse belt for a few minutes and then go ahead with finer and finer grits until we get the handle shaped. Now we have gone to the medium grit on the grinder. And what this has done, we've taken it down now where you can see every desirable and undesirable feature of this knife. You notice you can see the back here. It's all exposed, all the glue is off it. There are no burn marks here from where we had it on the grinding wheel. The piece is fully shaped now, and we're getting purely down to the cosmetics. Before we go to the next stage, however, we have some holes to fill, a little bit around the tang, around this end right here. We want to seal this. We also have a hole here. This is where one of the pins went slightly off and left a pre-drilled hole, a portion of it, And we're going to put a rosewood plug and cement that in there and then let that dry. On the bandsaw, I've cut us some rosewood pegs. So I'm going to put this one on the sander and sand it round and use it to plug that hole. We have our turn peg and super glue. In the hole. Good rack fit. Wipe the excess glue off. Now the fast setting would have already set. This is 5 to 15 seconds here. So this gives us a little working time. We have our peg set. I'll go ahead and trim it off with a Dremel. I don't trim it off any closer than this because I don't want this burn to actually show. Trying to force it down in these little cracks here. I'm doing the hand finishing now with steel wool, and I'm using this strip, and this is just one of our sanding strips that got torn, and I'm salvaging it to dress up this portion of the blade that has some super glue on it. And so we do this and we remove any minor imperfections there for the final finishing. I'm going to try to drill a lanyard hole. Last time I tried this, I was not too terribly successful. So I'll have better luck this time. Our attempt at hole drilling was not successful. We were off center and the hole came out canted. So I've whittled a plug and I put it in, and I've used some Instacure here and some more wood dust to make sure I got a good seal. So we'll cut and grind this plug off, and then go ahead and finish and paint with this natural Minwax wood finish, and that'll be the exterior finish on the knife. And now I'm going to apply our first coat of finish. And this will darken up this rosewood nicely. And just allow any of the excess to drip. Let this dry. And we'll probably put about 2 more coats on it. The Billy Joe Rubidoux paring knife, made from a piece of salvaged steel from a lawn tilling implement, is now completed. And what the knife is a paring knife designed to be used either of 2 ways. You can hold it very comfortably in the hand like this and shave with it like that, or equally well reverse it in the hand and use it for peeling. This bulge here on the edge of the grip fits the hand both ways and is very comfortable in either orientation. The knife also rests flat on the work surface like this while keeping the edge off the table. So this paring knife is a tool that's put down and picked up more than any other instrument in the kitchen, most likely. And this way, you don't have to worry about a knife rack. You can protect the edge just by setting the piece down and pick it up and handle it anytime you want to have one. So this is a very convenient shape. The blade is flexible. It has bend, but it is stiff enough that you can use it to penetrate something that's even a little bit tough. Certainly, the grip here is very well supported with this very thick piece of steel. This is an unusual knife and unusually useful. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. Here is another look at our finished paring knife to actual true dimensions. I am the author of a series of outdoor books. Now these include backyard deer hunting, extreme muzzleloading, crossbow hunting, and practical bow fishing, and all of these have chapters about knives. I'm also the owner of a new company, Hovey's Knives of China, and we make very interesting cutlery and cooking knives. And here is a selection of some of the patterns we offer. There are many more. In the Billy Joe Rubidoux series, we make custom knives from found materials. I have previous videos on how this knife was made by forging and grinding. I also have a video how I converted that blast cabinet. For more information on Hovey's Knives of China, you can go to the website below. For more information on my books, blogs, and nearly 575 videos, go to www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.